All right, guys, what is up? Welcome to round number 1 of the Pro Play Tour here in a beautiful Atlantic City, New Jersey. I'm here with the amazing Pat O'Neill. Pat, say hello.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
All right, guys. Sorry, we are recording this match. We don't have this on live stream, but this will be up on YouTube in full HD, which you guys know because it's the only way you're watching us right now.
Correct.
So I'm just kind of talking to the invisible, live audience. So on the left we have Joseph Campbell playing the movie Gogeta promo.
We try to get something somewhat spicy in terms of leaders for our first round here in Atlantic City for the Pro Play Games Tour.
Yeah, if only we could get him facing a Broly deck. That would have been very thematic.
That's what I was hoping for. We're looking for something spicy. This guy's like, hey, I'm playing movie Gogeta.
Sounds pretty
I want to
good.
be on stream.
Sounds pretty good. Okay, and then Joseph Campbell, obviously, playing the movie promo Gogeta, which we'll talk about in a second. But Kevin playing the Super 17, which is a leader that we've seen a lot of.
Yes, a lot since Nationals.
Yes,
since Danny Hype and Russell popularized it over in Nationals.
Absolutely. Obviously, just a fantastic deck. It's definitely evolved a little bit since Nationals, but pretty much the same concept. You want to play out your Hellfighter Super 17 on 3, and then do Cell Chain on 4, and then evolve into the Infernal Machine. Discard the one card in hand, use Toa or a Super Combo to take away that last card.
At just that point, it becomes sort of like an OTK deck. The opponent no longer has the ability to play the game anymore. They just lose their hand, and they just get bombarded with critical attacks, and it's pretty much all over.
Yeah, absolutely. So definitely a really cool deck. Getting a little bit weaker after the bans in February, but still, going to be, I think a very powerful deck. We also saw this deck really take over Fight Night too. I think
everybody had one of these. Yes, this is the pocket deck. This is by far the most popular deck.
Yeah, I'd say as far as colors go too, this is probably the best green deck as well. I would say that's probably pretty fair to say.
I think the new Clash of Fates Goku could make in the coming months. I think that could overtake it if with some tweaking and refining. Obviously, the set's a little bit new, so hopefully you guys are enjoying the new set, Clash of Fates. This is the first major tournament where it will be legal, so hopefully we'll see some stuff. Looking at Joseph's Gogeta deck, it looks like he has a Goku's lineage start, so I'm wondering if it's an actual lineage deck or it's going to be more akin to Storm, which is kind of like a small game package.
Yeah, no, we've obviously seen a lot of Storm in with almost every blue leader, right? And I think honestly, that's kind of why they hit this the Goten was because not only is Goten, just a great card in Storm, but it's also just the best probably turn 1 play. You go Bardock into Goten. Yeah. Okay, boom.
Exactly.
Best turn
I
1
think
play.
also one of the reasons why they hit Goten is because if you hit Bardock, then the casual lineage decks aren't as good anymore. You don't really have your major starter. And then on top of that, Bardock is a super rare, so you don't really want to, I think, affect the secondary market too much.
I agree, yeah.
So yeah, Goten is a card that everybody has access to.
Right. It's like a 10-cent promo right now.
Exactly, So,
that's the feature rare.
The feature rare Goku coming out of Joseph's deck as a combo card.
Okay, Joseph happened.
Yeah. I'm wondering how much of that we'll actually see this weekend, Dusty, with the feature rare Goku.
I think the feature is going to be a huge card. We talked a little bit about it, me and you, whenever we were getting ready for the event. We talked about the cards we thought we'd see. I think we're going to see a lot of Storm still. I think Storm is still probably the best deck, even though the feature rare exists, even though Borgos exists. I think Crisis Crusher is a great choice this week as well. It gets rid of all these pesky 1-drops. Also the Vegeta, the one that comes, or not Vegeta, Frieza, when it comes into play, you can put something in rest.
I think that will be a card we'll see quite a lot. But even though you were saying you messed up there with the Vegeta, I actually do think that the feature rare Vegeta is a card that we'll also see a lot of.
It's still very good.
The feature rares in this set, I think, are very good. I think the red one is a little lacking, but the other 3 are very good, strong cards that I feel like you can build around.
Yeah, it feels like the red ones maybe just they tried to balance it maybe a little too much. Like it's a 3-drop instead of a 2 like the other ones. Yes. It is 15,000 instead of 10,000, but its effect only works like one time. Yes. It is for the turn though. That's pretty cool. So I mean, it's neat. I just don't think it's going to be quite as impactful.
What was that? Combos I said SPR Super 17 looks like. As Kevin, I think game 1, this is not the ideal energy charge. Also, whenever I play Cell Chain, I never want to draw my cell pieces. It always is very painful to have to charge them. So as Joseph, I think he's kind of feeling a lot better because he sees, oh hey, he's got the Cell Chain in his deck. I got that information, but they're all in his hand right now. So.
Right. Yeah, he has 2 5-drops as energy too, which is never good. Like it always terrifies me when that happens because now if the other 2 are in his life, for example, he's out. Like
so Joseph already awakening because of the front side Gogeta skill. Obviously, he takes a card to hand whenever he attacks, so he gets a lot of hand advantage with this leader.
Oh, wrong person.
So let's see. So it does look like Joseph's deck is actually a Storm deck. So far, all indications are that it is a Storm deck with the movie Gogeta leader as the lead instead of the traditional Hirudegarn or Krillin. So I'm actually really curious as to what he had, what is the reason for Gogeta? I'm wondering, is it because he can get around blockers? What is he afraid of?
Well, I mean, I think the cool thing about the Gogeta movie promo, I think, as far as being a Storm leader, is that it's just I like its awakening ability. You kind of get you get the best of both worlds, right? You get to draw a card and untap a energy, which is pretty cool.
I honestly, personally, that's the ability I like the most, and there's so few leaders that actually have it. Like when Krillin was coming out, everybody's like, "Oh, that's not as good," but I was like, "That's honestly what I want. Yeah. I want card advantage, but I also want to have at least one energy. One energy is enough to defend your life. Two might be a little overkill."
Right. No, I agree. And also, I mean, with Storm 2, a lot of the times it just needs to untap one energy, right? And that one energy goes such a far way. If you untap one energy, that could be an energy for Mira, it could be energy for Battering Laser, it could be energy just to play Bardock into a Goten, right? It's like you get so much out of this deck off just one energy that it is definitely still very powerful. So here comes Cell Chain.
Yeah, there's the Cell Chain, so he did have it. If you're Joseph, he's probably like, "Oh man, why couldn't both the other ones been in the life? Right. That would have been great." Right. It happens.
That's the dream.
It's the dream, yeah. So, looks like all that equity he got out of the Gogeta leader early on is pretty much erased just with this one card. I think that's kind of one of the reasons why Bandai decided to go with Cell 2-1. By having the 3-drop Cell at 1 come February 1st, it's going to make it less consistent for this. And I mean, obviously, Storm is a very strong deck. It feels good to punish that deck, but you have to understand, even the most casual decks, Cell is a huge barrier to entry. It'll allow for a much more deck diversity, I feel like, in the future, if the Cell Chain is just 5 to 7, which is a much more manageable thing.
It is. I also like that it also I'm trying to figure out how to explain it. What really stinks about the Cell Chain currently is if they play 3-drop out and you cold ball us the 3-drop and then kill the 3-drop on your turn, they just play another 3-drop the next turn, and it feels very it's all for nothing, right?
I remember that back in the Union Force meta when they made those rule changes. I wasn't a super big fan of it because I was like, there's one real good check to it, and you just took it away, so it kind of defeats the purpose of I should be rewarded for the counterplay.
I agree.
With a card like Cold Bloodlust, if I'm not taking a full turn and staying more reserved, keeping my resource open, and you are going to play this early Cell, I should be rewarded for it if I get the correct read and I actually play the card.
Right. And I honestly think that actually could have been something they could have chosen to do instead of limiting 3-drop to 1. I think they could have just brought the old Bolas changes back.
That's another thing.
Yeah, that could have been something they could have done.
Yeah,
because it was very taxing on the Cell player. You do all your stuff and you go to 7-drop. It's like, cool, I'll Bloodlust it, and it's like, oh man, now I've I've used a 5-drop, I've used a 7-drop. Now, I mean, that would really be a huge deal for Kevin right now. I mean, he has 2 5-drops in energy and just used a 5-drop. If you could cold Bloodlust that chain, then it's like he only has one more chance to do it just the rest of the game. So
exactly.
That could be cool.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's one thing that I always. When it comes to game design, I don't fundamentally like changing the established rules of the game too much unless it's a strict upgrade for the better. Because once you start changing the established rules, you've already designed and tested cards with older rules in mind. Sure. They don't work. The interactions just aren't there. They're not exactly the same anymore. So looks like in that last exchange, Joseph ended up super comboing with 2 King Kais. So he's obviously only got max 2 more super combos left going into this match. I can't really tell how many cards are in Joseph's hand. It looks like 4, but
it looks like 4, maybe 5 at most.
Yeah. Right now, I feel like Kevin's in a pretty commanding position since Gogeta does awaken much faster than other leaders. It's actually kind of to his detriment.
Does he have another Cell Chain ready here?
He might actually.
Yeah, this is kind of a weird attack if he doesn't.
Yeah,
because normally you want to hit your opponent. He's at 3. Normally you want to hit him with 2. And then swing him.
That's the 3rd super combo. And double beam.
Super beam. Holy crap.
He actually blocks it. Wow. So as I was saying, a leader like Gogeta, because he awakens so quickly, it actually gets punished very hard by Cell Chain. Usually in this matchup, you want to keep your life total high, so that way when they Cell Chain you, you can recoup all the cards off your life. Because your life is basically like a second resource, a second hand in this game.
If you are dropping.
Mills a 3-drop cell and a looks like 17.
Yeah, Joseph's probably like, man, why couldn't it have been February 1st? It's already seen it. He's already seen multiple 3-drop cells.
Of course, when time is called, the game is stopped, and you will finish the current phase.
Wonder what's going on here. Hellfighter? There's Hellfighter.
Hellfighter. So you can actually discard 2 cards from Joseph's hand, which Joseph has only 3 cards in hand. That would be actually pretty devastating.
Yes. We'll be cutting to a top 16 for
or he could play the long game and go for the 6-drop here. We already saw the SPR, so he does have. We know he has it. He's not just strictly only the hand control early on from the 4-drop turn and pack promo.
He also could just pass here too, and then wait till next turn and really.
Yeah. That's the one thing when I learned against Russell at Nationals is I was very surprised that not only does the 4-drop Super 17 that you can evolve into the 6-drop have barrier, but Hellfighter himself has barrier.
Yep.
So there's not really a whole lot of options that you can use against it, and he could kind of pick and choose. He could just sit on it and pick and choose exactly what he needed next turn.
Yeah, it's another reason why I really like the preemptive strike card. I think that card was a sick addition to the game. I think it's going to be another really impactful card this weekend as well. So.
Exactly. We were actually talking about that last night at the Shenron's Lair House about about preemptive strike with like how it interacts with swap and would you have to pay the cost and if you do, then that's a huge blow to a deck like Storm or like the actual Goku's lineage deck, so that they have to invest actual resources. It'll be like the actual cell chain changes we just talked about. If you go to start the swap and they preemptive strike, you can either call it back, but you're just going to lose a ton of advantage. You basically just gave up a guy for free.
All right, Joseph's trying to figure out what he wants to charge here. I mean, honestly, he doesn't really have to charge anything. I mean, Storm can obviously operate just fine on 2 energy.
Yeah, but 3 is usually the moneymaker. But you're right, at this low a hand size, so it looks like he's not going to charge. I mean, you got the 1 yellow, the 1 blue. Successor. Ooh, finds Bardock. I don't know. He's already really low on life.
Yeah, he's at 3 right now, so this will take him to 2.
Makes me wonder if he wouldn't have just went for Grandpa there for the safer play. So. So let's see. Looks like we are going to play this Bardock.
Yep,
go to 2 life.
There's a life.
So now Joseph is basically in lethal range, but Kevin's still sitting here pretty at 6. So
yeah, maybe Joseph feels like he has to win this turn. I don't know. It's a very interesting play because, like you said, I can't imagine how Kevin is gonna. Or how Joseph's gonna win if he passes.
Actually, so this is the Gogeta that has the ability to blank card text, correct? So can he not? I believe can he not just negate the barrier here?
He could negate the barrier.
And he could actually play some kind of something like an overwhelm card here, such as Mass Saiyan.
Right, and then just kill it.
Yeah, that's a possibility. Well, actually, now that I think about it, the Gogeta, I believe you actually would have to. You can't play anything but Union Fusion, so I'm.
Yeah, but after you use the ability, right?
Yes.
Right.
So I'm like, that wouldn't even work. Maybe Goten, Family of Justice, something like that.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe. We'll see what happens here. There's the Mass Saiyan.
So, right on time, right?
Yeah.
Speak of the devil, and he shall appear. So, unfortunately, no legal targets for Joseph because you can only pick 5 or less. Can't choose barrier, obviously.
Yeah, so 25K here into the cell. Kind of ready an energy here. Unfortunately, Kevin did shocking death ball the Bardock, so that shut down that line of play as well.
It's a bean, so we got to look at the 30K. Wonder how many cards are in Kevin's hand.
Oh, he's just gonna scoop. I think it's like I can't win. Yeah,
he's just like he only has 2 cards.
Yeah, he had 2 cards in hand, and like what was gonna happen there is Kevin's just gonna go up to this Super 17, SR, and then just win off of that, right? Attack once, make him discard the cards in his hand, hit him from 2 to 1, attack again, and no cards in hand.
Yeah, exactly. So, like I was talking about before, in Game 2, the adjustment I think I'd like to see from Joseph is try and conserve his life a little bit more at the beginning.
Yeah, absolutely.
I understand that your leader takes a life early on whenever you attack because you want to get the huge card advantage, but like 6 to 7 life is pretty much the sweet spot when it comes to playing Cell Chain. You kind of want to sit there as long as you can. I don't know. Let's see if Joseph has anything that's more defensive in the board. I mean, normally Storm doesn't really want to do that, but if you're not going to get that fast, aggressive start, you definitely want to conserve the life total a little bit more.
No, I agree 100% on that. All right, guys, let's.
Ooh, so Joseph does have it looks like in his sideboard here, he does have some green leader tech. One that we will see often. I feel like the early and often this weekend.
What's that?
Haru Haru.
Haru Haru. No, not that big deal. Yeah. That card's actually absurd. I do think we do have a couple more, counters to that card. I mean, we have Preemptive Strike, which is really good. Corbellust. It's coming back with the new Broly leader. That's actually a leader that's worth running Corbellust with.
That's a card I feel like from a design perspective should be looked at.
I agree 100%.
A couple people in the community, including Danny Hype and several others, have expressed their concern over a card like Haru Haru because it's really powerful.
It is. It targets it targets two specific colors.
Yeah, so it's
which I think are struggling right now. Honestly,
yes, green and yellow feel like they're at the bottom of the barrel because yellow was very strong for a long time, and it feels like they just weren't giving them anything aside from the obvious storm package. The mid to later parts of yellow really suffer. They kind of need something, and when you have a card that comes out that early and rewards you that hard, it really discourages players from playing anything other than the blue and red leaders that we see so often, and then obviously something like Shenron. So, players are still siding, looks like. Trying to decide.
Haru Haru, what a great card. That card is just going to be devastating.
I was actually very surprised that that was a card that wasn't on the February 1st list.
What I'm surprised is they haven't addressed it yet. I mean, obviously, maybe they don't want to ban it, whatever. But as much as I think a lot of the content creators are talking about the card, and a lot, like you said, a lot of the high-level players are talking about the card. I'm surprised they haven't just throw a little thing in there, like, hey, you know what, we're thinking, because they've done it before. Like, hey, you know what, we are looking at this card.
I don't know. It's also I don't know if people perceive it because it's a very strong card, but I don't think it's perceived as this haymaker like a Gogeta Hero Revived is, or something like Storm, where it's just a flurry of attacks that kills you outright in the first turn or two of the game. So I don't know. Maybe some of the player base hasn't experienced some of the crazier shenanigans you can do with Haru Haru, so it kind of goes under the radar. But there's in Magical Christmas Land, as we like to call it, when you have the optimal hand, you can do crazy plays like Chain Attack Trunks into Haru Haru into another Chain Attack Trunks into Haru Haru.
It looks like maybe Joseph has Haru Haru in hand and a flute, which is again one of those crazy plays you're talking about, where you go Haru Haru attack you.
Oh yeah, he's got
flute,
his one copy of flute. Mm-hmm. Yes. So what do you think about that, Dusty? Because that's something I'm always against is taking cards to one. Taking cards to one, because then it's it really hurts. It kind of tilts you as a player when you're sitting across from them and they have that one copy of the card that probably shouldn't exist anymore.
The cool thing is that so Cell I think is okay at one because it's searchable. There's a lot of cards that let you look through your deck for that Cell. I mean, nothing goes and gets Cell, but there's a lot of cards that let you look at the top 3, look at the top 7, type of things. So I don't mind Cell being at 1 because it's whatever. But Flute is one of those cards where, like you said, sometimes you just draw, you have in your opening hand, it's insane. Your opponent's playing Get Storm, they play Crisis Crusher on turn 1, and you just go, I have the one of Flute for to your hand, now I can keep going. And it's what? Like you said, it's why, you had one chance and you got it, out of 50 cards,
Exactly, 2% chance.
Yeah, it's very frustrating. But especially with Trunks, I would rather them just went to 2. I think that's a better number, but I don't know.
I subscribe to the Jordan Markle philosophy, which is 4 or 0.
Yeah.
4 or 0.
I think that's I think that's perfectly fine.
If you feel the card is too strong, then just don't have it.
Right. I agree 100%. I like the old 4 or 0. I think
Kevin having somewhat of a repeat from before. We once again get a 5-drop Cell. Not in the deck where we want it to be, out of the deck, off of his burst 2. So, I'm assuming Joseph, it's his turn, going to charge a blue here. Get that nice yellow-blue start. Taking time to decide on what to charge here. Ooh, double yellow.
Yeah, you usually see a lot of Storm players go yellow, blue, yellow, and then they stop. It's usually
exactly.
the
yellow,
ideal.
Blue, yellow is the ideal. Must not have the blue.
Yeah, must not, or
or just doesn't want to. Maybe it's something like unyielding or being something you don't.
Right.
Really
yeah.
want.
Exactly. You want to maybe give it one more turn, see if you draw a lesser important blue card. That's why I like Hirudegarn so much, is because they have so many good blue cards that you can. Well, not good, but blue cards you can throw away as energy.
Yeah.
You can use the Minosha to go get the Hirudegarn draw, and then use that as then just use that as energy in the next turn, which is It just feels very plus instead of.
So speaking of plus, there's the Anticipate on a Stick, as I call it, Scrambling Assaults on Goten. That's the card that will be limited to 0, along with Flute, the card that was
just used. Pretty devastating combo there.
Yeah. So it makes me, I believe we were saying Joseph had the Haru Haru. So
I thought I saw it, but I was just like the corner of the card. It's possible he doesn't have it though. He's actually can actually probably awaken this turn. Actually, he absolutely can awaken this turn. He could, at the very least, just swap this into nothing and play it again if he wanted. Honestly, that gives him a turn actually awakened.
Shocking Death Ball again coming out from Kevin.
Good play by Kevin. Battering. That's actually. That's actually.
I actually kind of like this play because so the thing about the play is we know that Kevin probably has the Cell Chain coming up on 3. So you're getting your damage in now while keeping your hand size like slightly smaller to make it less enticing, less appetizing to go for the
hopefully he has a way to ready an energy. If he does, he can awaken this turn, which is pretty cool.
He still has his leader swing. And obviously the Goten that we know was there.
Yep. See what he gets off the top. Probably wanting the Trunks here would be ideal.
Yeah, I think unyielding would be the ideal draw.
If he takes it very quick, it's going to be unyielding. It looks like he's thinking, so that's my guess. Not one.
Card selection is really powerful in card games.
It is. It's also awesome. Every time I draw a card, I get so happy. Looks like he took a Sensu Bean, maybe.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what the math would be for like what the value of the card you get off of Scrambling Assault Sun Goten, because obviously it's a card because you're getting a card, but like the card selection inherently has some value.
Right.
So like looking at 3 cards is like worth like half a card. So
yeah, well, I think that's really important to think about too. Is like also like in what order so for example, let's say I want to get. I want to attack with Goten here, and this is a question I always think about when I play Storm. I attack with Goten, look at the top 3 cards of the deck. Okay, cool. Let's say I want to get Trunks. Yeah. Okay, but let's say I have what's the 0 cost? Go get a swap card.
The Successor.
Yeah, Successor. So let's say I have Successor in hand. Okay, do I Successor first to go get a card out of my deck so I have a higher chance to get Trunks, or do I wait until after I Trunks to use Successor so I can shuffle, and that way if I take like maybe, let's say my hand is Trunks, my 3 cards are Trunks, Super Combo, right? I really don't want to put 2 Super Combos in the bottom, so I really want to shuffle.
Yeah.
So it's like, which is better? Do you search first to give yourself an innate higher chance to get the card, or do you save that Successor for a shuffle? I don't think there's a right answer. It's just tough though. And that's one thing I love about card games is those little mini choices that doesn't seem like they matter a lot, but they really do.
It's actually funny you're talking about this, and I'm thinking about, I always call the nail from set 4. That's like mini Scrambling Assaults on Go. It's like Green's version. It's not as good. It's like slightly bigger in power, but it does get you the card draw. And they also, with Clash of Fates, got a card very similar to Successor. So that's a card I'm looking forward to that combination to see if it actually takes hold once Scrambling Assault Sun Goten goes. So I believe the card's Assimilate. So yeah, with Assimilate plus like Nail. Definitely think that could be something that already works. I mean, with Golden Frieza, that's a popular combination.
Nail is a card I'm surprised hasn't seen more play.
Yeah,
it was very good. It
was very popular in the early days of Hurrigarden, if you remember. Blue-Green was very, very, very popular. And then Storm became the thing when we saw Goten. Right. But so now with Scrambling Assaults on Goten being gone, then I wonder if Nail actually would be a worthy successor there.
No, I actually, I love Nell and Pan as well. It's actually pretty cool because you play it out, you draw a card, you attack, you draw a card. It just feels so good.
Yeah, that's what I was saying to you before. I've already said it before, but Gold Frieza, the set 1 Gold Frieza is so good with Nail because you can use the 1-drop Green Frieza to start to self-awaken yourself, and also you can use it to switch energy to active mode, but then Nail can just be your Goten from 2 or 3 onwards.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, so you can just basically start to turn Nail sideways, get your card advantage, get your Cold Bloodlust and all that stuff. So with a card like Assimilate in that kind of deck, I think it'll be more consistent. You'll get more options. You'll thin the deck much better.
Absolutely.
So
okay.
Looks like we saw the super combos coming out from Kevin there.
Yeah, Kevin at 3 life. Sorry guys, I'm very far behind on the life here. I'm actually going to set this up so
we're just so excited talking about these possibilities, these new cards.
We're going to have our boy Blake come in here in a second and start doing the life and stuff while me and Pat are talking. But we're just trying to get this stream issue figured out. I know obviously you guys on YouTube, will have that. Does not matter to you guys, but
It's been a crazy morning.
It actually has. It's weird. It's like because we have the Yu-Gi-Oh stream right behind us, and we always use cell phone internet. It's always very consistent. And they're getting like literally 80 download and like 30 upload, and then we're using the exact same phone with the exact same carrier. We're getting like two download,
0.57.
Yeah, it's like it doesn't make. We've tried 6 different phones. Like I'm not sure what's going on.
Yeah. So something we didn't notice in the first game here, as I was saying, Kevin here, he's charged the Sensu Bean, so I don't know if he sided in the blue package.
Maybe he sided the blue. I actually didn't notice that either.
I'm actually very
That's
curious.
actually pretty huge.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen Super 17 run the blue. Maybe he just runs four Sensu Bean, charges 1, uses the other 3. Is that what it is?
Yeah. So that's what it's looking like. It looks like he has a small blue package.
He has Pilaf in there too, Group Leader Pilaf in there too, which is another blue card. Yeah, that's it, right? That's the only ones.
Let's see. No, so he's got Mafuba. Mafuba is
I see. Yeah.
And an Awakening Talent Pan as well, and some Borga. So he has like a
it's like a tiny little blue package.
Yeah, blue package. Yeah. A lot of tech choices for various different matchups. He's got the one of Peel Off, the one.
I always liked blue-green androids, like way back in the day, like on set 2, because back then you didn't have enough androids to make a mono-green deck, so you had to either go like, you could go mono-green, but most people went green-red.
Yeah, that was actually one of my front-runner choices for Nationals was blue-green androids. Didn't even play the cell chain. It was just the Super 17 chain and just a lot of androids with beans and peel-offs. And
it's actually sounds like a pretty sick deck, actually.
Yeah, and then Jocko. People were like, wait, Jocko? And I was like, yeah, Jocko's
still freaking awesome.
Yeah, Jocko's very good. Against the Storm decks, they don't see it coming. It's a 15k swing right away. So yeah, Kevin choosing to play super defensive end. Players
different game.
Yeah, a much different game. Players' lives are so low this early on.
Oh, absolutely. 3-3 right now, all tied up as far as life goes.
So Joseph, I assume, there's the blue.
Okay.
So now he's got the Holy Trinity of energy.
This is usually this is probably going to be Joseph's last turn. I mean, obviously he can play it in a way where he'll, have the ability to survive. But usually this is probably going to be the turn we're going to see Joseph go all in, try to kill Kevin, which is very possible.
Trying to see that. So it looks like Kevin does have the Deadly Defender 18. So he somehow manages to live through this turn. He can make a push with her for game and then still have some kind of a buffer.
Yeah. Also, Kevin making a pretty sick play too that I didn't get a chance to talk about yet. He didn't awaken on his turn, even though he could. So he's keeping that awakened just for defense, solely for defense, which is a really, really cool play. It's also pretty indicative of what's in his hand too. If I'm Joseph,
I
would be.
It says, "Hey, I have a lot of 10Ks."
Right.
So
or negates like sparking or shocking death ball. Oh no.
So we did have the horror.
You will get escorted and banned from all events. So please do not try that at our first pro play tour. We're trying to have everybody have a great experience. So thank you guys again for participating.
This is why I was talking about how good Sensu Bean is as a card is because he's going to force Joseph to spend more than he wants to.
We do have a phone that was turned in. Somebody lost their phone. We did return a phone.
Going to 25 critical. That's very painful.
Other phone here at the registration desk. Please come up if you have misplaced your phone, so we can get it back to its original owner. Thank you.
Now, what do you think about this play here? I mean, he's obviously stopping the attack, and obviously going to 2 is you just can't do that. Against a Storm. They can just play Mira right now and double strike you with battering back up. But this is a question I always wonder. I've seen a lot of players do this too, where they'll get attacked with a critical card, and then they'll defend it with more cards than the critical takes away from them. If that makes sense. They'll use like 3 cards to stop them from losing 1.
Yeah.
Obviously, like I said, Kevin had to in that situation. Mira is lethal.
Yes.
But just in general, what do you think about like defending critical? Do you think it's oh my god?
Yes, too. So you were right. You were like, I think it was both.
I thought so. Yeah.
It was both.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, thank God he doesn't have the other flute, but that could be really devastating. But yeah, what do you think about that? Like, how do you usually approach defending critical attacks? Do you look at it like card advantage wise, or
so? That was something I, as a player, learned early on from Nick Brady, who's one of Jordan Markle's good friends.
Such a good player, too.
So when, except in this situation we're talking about here, where you're at 3 life and if you go to 2, you die.
Right.
You usually want to just take the critical.
Yeah.
Because it's, again, we were talking about life is a second hand. Would you rather go 1 card from your hand or 2 cards from your hand?
Right.
I mean, obviously 1 puts you closer to losing the game, but if it's not going to put you in like a checkmate situation, you can afford to take it. It's just knowing when you can or cannot take the life.
Yeah, I think this is a good argument of why Haru is just such a powerful card. I mean, like, this game should be so much closer than it is right now. And since Joseph has 2 Haru-Harus, it's definitely going to be now just automatically just swung to Joseph's favor.
Right. 2 free shots at getting the checkmate.
Right. Like we said, I mean, because Mira is so powerful, which I don't think he does have Mira in his hand, though.
Yeah, but from Kevin's perspective, you don't know that. That's the number one thing you're always thinking of. My opponent has 4 cards in hand. Okay, it's a Battering, it's a Yellow, it's a Mira, it's a Champa.
Right. Nope, absolutely. You're completely right. It did force the Awaken, so this is 20 to 25 already. It looks like Kevin's going to use 2 cards out of his hand.
Pro Play Tour competitors, there is a Dropbox for Yu-Gi-Oh!
Looks like 2 cards in Kevin's hand?
Yeah, so already Joseph got 4 cards out of Kevin's hand with 2 free cards. Like, I mean, with really no resources spent. It's not like Haru-Haru's bad after you've played it. Now it's still on the board. It's still a 15K critical.
It's still that 15K, the magic number. Critical, arguably the best keyword in the game besides deflect.
Absolutely. Very good. We do see Joseph with the ability to untap an energy with Trunks here as well. So he's going to be able to play a lot of cards this turn.
We recommend the winner bringing the match to the back.
He still hasn't even swung with his leader, too. So
right, he gets another card. Yep.
He gets another shot at this.
Once there are 2 signatures.
What do you think would be the best card you could find in this situation off of his later swing?
Oh, Mira.
Mira?
That's the way
the kill shot?
Yeah, the kill shot. But he did use a Battering Laser, which usually these decks only run 2. So
please make sure you put the parameters of your match. If you have 1, 2,
we do see
please write 2,
a Bardock, Planet Vegeta, and a Trunks, I believe, is his hand.
This is only applicable.
So here comes the leader swing. I actually really like this Gogeta leader in this meta too, because you can use that to shut off Borgos. You can use it to shut off the Goku feature area. You know what I mean? Like, that's really cool. It's a really cool leader for the expected meta.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's. I was actually very surprised when I did see it, and it took me a second to actually remember what the card did, because it's so rare, and I was like, oh, this is actually
sick. Yeah,
it's actually a very, very smart decision to play this leader. I'm actually curious as the day goes on. Dylan Ashcroft is playing what I was thinking about playing if I actually decided to compete. The new Clash of Fates Bardock leader.
We saw Marcel play that on Fight Night, and the deck looks really cool. Yeah, the deck does look really cool.
Well, people asking me, how do I feel about Clash of Fates as a set? And I was like, look, of the leaders that are in the set, you can't go wrong with any of them at a competitive level except for maybe Piccolo.
Sure.
Yeah, so he's like, Piccolo, probably not. Porunga has a chance if Shenron ever gets the axe, which many players have been asking for right now. But the other 3, Frieza, Bardock, and Goku, all excellent leaders that I expect to see at top tables at events at some point.
Yeah, I really like it seems like they're focusing more on making the leaders more niche.
Yeah,
and I think that's a great direction.
Yeah, that's really exactly. Yeah. You want your leader to kind of be built around a theme, but still have some kind of flexibility for creativity.
Right, absolutely.
Also located where the Dropbox.
Because early on, some of the leaders that we got in design were just off the rails. You could do whatever you wanted, or just bonkers. You could do whatever you wanted with.
Which has the Yu-Gi-Oh! Dropbox as well.
All right, here's Kevin attacking with his leader, 15,000 into 15,000 critical. Yep, absolutely critical.
Which is one of the things about Super 17 that makes him so strong. A lot of people are like, but it doesn't make my androids cheaper. I can't awaken faster. I was like, look, you can't really discount the power of the untapped 2-liter with the card advantage on the front. And critical is still critical.
Yeah,
it's always going to be irrelevant
also,
here.
Feed your sparking as well, which is really important in a matchup like this, because being able to play, shocking death ball for free, off the sparking ability. As early as
taking
turn 3.
one to just halt your opponent's momentum entirely is huge. Speaking of cards that halt momentum, we've already talked about it in this matchup, but the Preemptive Strike, I don't think we've seen one from Kevin. I don't
think we've seen this deck.
I'm actually curious.
Actually, he runs 2.
He does run 2. Okay, yeah, there they are.
Preemptive Strike, amazing card. Probably my favorite card from the new sets. It's either Preemptive Strike or the Goku, the 5-drop Goku.
The 5-drop. For me, it's either Final Showdown Goku or Chilai. I really like Chilai.
Chilai is cool too. Yeah.
I want to build something around Chilai. It's beautiful.
I mean, you know how I am. When it comes to hand destruction, I'm automatically on board. So she's obviously a huge part of that.
I was joking. I was like, no, for locals next week, I'm going to build Cell, and I'm going to use my Metal Cell leader.
Oh, that's right. You do have a Metal Cell leader.
The Metal Cell leader. I was like, I want to use it.
I think Cell is coming. I think Cell will make a comeback though with Feb. I think Cell automatically becomes the best Cell chain leader with the new changes.
It's still a strong leader right now. I would argue it's probably maybe tier 2 when it's built properly. It's not quite as good because it just, again, these older leaders don't have the card advantage.
Right.
I think that going forward, Selcon has to go back to his roots, kind of play Tien Shinhan so he can awaken early to get the card advantage. And with the changes to the ban list and all that, Storm might not be, it might not even be a thing anymore. So without a really fast, aggressive deck like that in the format, then you can kind of safely, do that turn 2 Tien like you used to be able to, and actually get the card advantage from Cell's, backside. Because if you remember in Union Force, we're like, how can leaders ever get better than Cell?
Cell, right? Yeah,
he does everything.
He does so much. He can draw a card without attacking you. That's insane.
Yeah,
he has removal.
I definitely would like to see him come back. A card like Chilai, though, does give him a lot of help. We saw that on the Fight Nights. It's a really powerful combo. Set 6, it just gets even better.
Yeah, I really want to see Bandai really start doing more leader-specific cards. Like if your leader is Cell, this happens, and if your leader is, Super 17, this happens. I think that's just so cool, and it's very exciting.
Yeah,
it makes you go back and look at those old sets and see what you can do.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of that design for sure, and then I'm also a big fan of the color restricted cards, but they're like somewhat lenient. That's why I really like the Final Showdown Goku, because it's not only just green leaders, it's black leaders. So I kind of want to see somebody, you do it with Shenron or Porunga.
Kevin having to use 3 cards to stop that Haru attack, putting him to no cards in hand.
What is this? 8 cards we've gotten out of Haru?
Yeah, they're free, by the way. They don't
cost Joseph anything.
No, don't worry about it. It's fine.
Think about that. His 2-card investment netted 4 cards apiece.
Jeez.
So Joseph takes a life here off Bardock.
Goes to 2. His leader is at 20K, so that's something.
So Joseph, I think best card he can find here is obviously Champa.
Yeah.
It's just
Champa being very good. There's the
leader because this leader swing is obviously it's basically not quite guaranteed because he has the Sensu beam, as indicated by the dice, but
so there it is, 20 to 20. That's going to hit.
Doesn't have to do anything else here. And so now, if you've got the Furthering Destruction Champa
and Mira,
it's the check mark.
Yeah, unless your opponent just happens.
Well, Mass Saiyan will do it also.
It will. Joseph taking some time, though. I can't imagine him swapping to the 15K here. Kind of an unnecessary step, but I like this play by Joseph because if Kevin happens to draw a shocking death ball, he doesn't kill the Bardock.
Correct. So that's what I was going to say. I think that's what it is. Oh, yeah, he just picks up the cards.
All right, there you go.
He's like, show me 30K.
Show me that you can be 30. It's a game.
Still can't get over how cool it is to see Gogeta, someone to actually.
I know, man. I know.
How many of those you mail out at this point?
Dusty, geez, so many of them.
Dusty, we're gonna do it. We're gonna play Storm.
I gave away so many at Nationals.
Yes.
And we did the trivia stuff, and then I have a bunch of. I haven't mailed the ones out yet. I keep forgetting to do it. But as compensation, I'm going to include like 4 of them for each person. So instead of them getting 1, they're going to get like multiple of them. And hopefully Joseph makes their stock rise a little bit. I think that would be fantastic for the players. But yeah, no, absolutely. Just
hopefully we get to see him more. Like I said, this might be his last hurrah with the way he's being used here. But maybe we'll get to see him more.
Yeah, I think it's still a powerful effect.
Yeah, it is. It's very powerful.
Right.
It's one of the few things in the game that gets rid of Zamasu.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Good old Zamasu. I miss him. Bandai, if you're watching, please give me a Zamasu leader that can actually draw cards on the front. Thank you.
It will be
without losing life. I know some stickler in the comments is going to be like, "Hey, you already can draw if you're playing mono blue. I don't want to lose life for that."
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, it's an effect that is not punished that much anymore, right?
Yeah.
So. Here comes the swap into Goten. Joseph respecting the shocking death ball and not attacking with the Bardock.
So again, very impressed with Joseph's adaptation in the matchup.
Yep. All right, so his life is 7-7 here.
So it looks like he chose unyielding, and he was added to his hand, so he's locked into that decision.
a Neodymium pretty good card to be to pick.
Yeah.
As it turns out. All right, attacking 10K to 10K here, taking a card from life, gets to draw a card as well. So that's so many. That's so much. That's like Hirudegarn level card draw.
Yes, it is. The thing again, what we have to be worried about is now that Kevin's on the play in Game 3, he's going to get to sell first. You don't want to get punished like you got in Game 1. Like Joseph's adaptation in the matchup so far has been, as evidenced by shocking death ball play, is very good. I'm sure he's aware of this at this point.
One thing, I mean, Kevin kept 4 cards. One of those 4 cards was not blue into Borgos. So my guess is he just kept Cell Chain.
Yeah.
He kept maybe all the pieces for Cell Chain. All right, there's 10,000 and 10,000. 2 draw. Looks like he drew drew Infernal Machine, it looks like. No, actually, that's 3-drop Cell. So drew 3-drop Cell.
Now we know he's got it.
Yeah, now it's very possible.
Unless that 17 that he comboed turn 1, in which case that's the worst karma.
Right. All right, passing. Just with a blue and a green up.
There's the blue energy again. So we are 1 yellow away from the Holy Trinity one more time.
One more time. Let's see what we can get here. We get top 3 here, see what he gets. Every time Goten survives, it feels dirty.
Exactly. It's one of there's 3 cards that feel like in the early game that if it lives, you're probably in a very tight spot. Goten's number 1.
Right.
Number 2 is quick thinking Gotenks. And then number 3 is the nail that we've already talked about.
Right.
Anytime my opponent gets to just turn a card sideways and just get value out of it.
It feels terrible, right?
It feels terrible. That's why I'm a big fan of his, not so much Storm because we see it everywhere, but I'm a big fan of quick thinking Gotenks based strategies.
Oh, absolutely.
It's like a horror that draws cards.
So, Bardock? Yeah, I'd say it's probably a pretty fair assessment here. I guess it could be Grandpa Gohan, but Joseph taking it, going to 5. I said that very apprehensively, so we'll see if I was right. Yeah, that's 5. So that means he guaranteed gets to awaken this turn with the leader effect.
All right. So I think that's kind of a huge tell there for Joseph. He didn't shocking death ball it right away.
Right.
Which lets him know Kevin doesn't have it.
Players, that is time in the round.
I would say that's fair.
Ball Super players, that is time in the round. 10 minutes overtime.
Kevin combos the 18 now. So he's comboed a 17 and an 18, and we've seen he has a 3-drop Cell.
End of match procedures are 0, 1, 2, 3. If 10 minutes pass before the turns are finished, then it's immediate draw. If you have any questions whatsoever about these end of match procedures, please raise your hand and call over for a judge. Once again, Dragon Ball Super players.
And this is why it's going to 0, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, it's so good.
Please proceed to end of match procedures.
Luckily, Kevin, though, I mean, Cell Chain's very good against it, though. He can Cell Chain, 5-drop kills one, and he can attack into the other one to kill it. It's very likely that will do the job. So, I guess Joseph's card advantage is somewhat getting negated here. But the problem is the card quality that Goten's going to bring him here. He gets to see more cards. That means the 3 cards he gets to keep off the Cell Chain are going to be of higher quality.
Can never underestimate the power of card selection.
Right, absolutely.
As I say, is it really 1 card you're getting off Goten? It's like I said, it feels more like it's 1.5 or 2 cards you get off because you get the best card.
Right.
You don't just get 1 card; you get the best card.
I would like to see Joseph not awaken here as well.
Mm-hmm.
I would really like to see Joseph play on the Cell Chain because I think it's actually pretty huge if he just doesn't use the Gogeta effect and then next turn
recoups it.
Yeah, recoups it because that's 2 cards off the front. Awaken, get another card. That's 3 cards, so he goes to 6 cards in hand. That's pretty huge. Okay, gonna get the Bardock here. I like it. Doing some deck thinning here.
So we see he has the Isekai in his hand. Makes me wonder, like, now that he has the Bardock, how devastating can he be this turn?
If you need a judge, please screen judge and hold your hand up until you get the attention of a judge.
So he's looking like he's going to go.
Yeah, I think what Joseph needs to do here, if possible, which it looks like it's going to be, is just try to get Kevin to awaken if he can. If he can get Kevin to awaken on his turn, it's huge.
Yeah, it's huge because then it puts you in range.
Right. Yeah, that means Kevin next turn can only play like Cell Chain and then can't awaken and play something else, or just even have that energy as a backup.
Okay. Well, since he hasn't decided to stay at 5 life, then he's kind of committed to this line. Whereas I always talk about committing to the play.
Yeah.
Like, you've chosen this path, you have to see it through. You can't abandon the strategy.
Right. Because I mean, I think that's really important because I think when you stick to a line of play, if it doesn't work out, at least you've learned that it doesn't work out. You've gained some sort of knowledge. But like you said, if you abandon it halfway, then it's always like, well, maybe if I would have kept going, it would have worked out.
Correct.
You know what I mean? So I think it is important
because instead of taking the optimal safe line or the optimal like all-in strategy, you went somewhere in the middle.
Right.
And unfortunately, many times when I watch players on stream, that ends up being the case. So.
All right, Joseph is at 4 life. He does have the ability to awaken if he wants.
That's actually a very good defensive play. Now that I think about it. So he gets this Bardock, and he's going to get to awaken and untap the 1. It's going to leave him with a blocker.
Yeah, but like we talked about, the 5-drop Cell just this kills it.
Well, if he can deplete his whole hand, then he's in a great spot to win the game.
Looks like he might take another life here. Maybe he might not. This would be a perfect negate time for Kevin. If he could just negate this. If he does that, it actually stops the Bardock play altogether.
Can I have table 17 for...
I do like that, though. Yeah. Attacking with the leader unawakened and then awakening mid-chain. I like that a lot.
And Nathan,
you get to see 1 extra card. Yeah. And you're playing a deck that doesn't really care about your life total. Let's be honest here.
All right, using the blue for the combo.
Yu-Gi-Oh players, at this time in the round, please cease play.
Did he not take the life?
Looks like he didn't take the life here.
The time has expired in the round. Please make an immediate decision and stop playing.
Very curious.
Judges, if I can get some assistance on collecting match slips. Finish the current phase. And have a judge please collect the match slips. Judges, if I can get assistance on the Yu-Gi-Oh end to wrap up the round. Thank you.
All right, Joseph's doing some calculations here. Looks like he's figuring out exactly what else to do. Looks like he's going to choose to awaken, running that yellow energy.
Well, he has Bean in his hand, if I recall correctly.
So he's choosing that yellow energy. Okay. Nope.
No, he's unsure.
Yeah,
do I want Nimbus or do I want Bean? Do I want Nimbus or do I want Bean? Which of these very powerful cards do I want to have right now? Yeah, there we see the card fan again. He does in fact have it.
All right, so attacking 25K here. Paying the 1 for the Mass Saiyan there.
So he goes up to 30K here. He already used the leader awaken though to get the energy back. So he is very committed to this aggressive line.
It hits, taking Kevin to 2 life. That's actually pretty huge. No, he can be a little bit more aggressive in taking the life here because He doesn't
actually.
He doesn't have to worry about Mira since the overrun was already been used.
Joseph's actually in a good spot here.
Yeah,
even though he tapped out, as we like to say, he is rested all of his energy here. Even if Kevin were to drop his hand to 3 with Cell Chain here, he's most likely going to lose the Bardock, but he's not really in any danger at 4 life of dying.
Yeah.
And if he does try to pressure, odds are those Gotens are going to recoup the hand. Realistically, Kevin can probably only do 3 damage this turn.
Yeah, I actually wouldn't hate to see Kevin just killing one of these Gotens instead of the Bardock. Obviously, the Bardock is a very scary threat here, but like you said,
Bardock's lethal.
Right.
I like killing the Bardock, and then instead of going life, probably
just attack the Goten.
Attacking the Goten.
Yep, gonna choose the Bardock.
So he's going to switch to.
Okay. Yep. He's choosing the blue and the green.
I'm trying to figure out what's the best, hand that Kevin could have right now. Imagine if he had Sensu Bean and another Cell Chain.
Oh my god, that would actually be pretty annoying.
What if he had it?
Actually, it would be sick right here if he just went to another 5-drop. Yes, we were just talking about that.
Wow.
Because now he gets to kill both Gotens.
Yeah, he gets to kill both. Yes, that's great. So now he's just going to get to cut the hand down. He's going to, just eliminate any ways he has to recoup it.
What if he goes to another 5-drop now? Just like,
it would have been great, right?
It would have been really funny.
Another one.
Yeah, might have been overkill, but it would have been cool.
So he cuts his hand.
So it looks like Joseph kept keeping Sensu Bean and 2 other cards. We don't see.
It's looking like he's going to pitch Nimbus and double battering. Mira Champa? Mira Iska?
Cut it. Do you think?
Well, there's Champa. Champa is one of the cards, so. Bean Mass Saiyan.
Yeah, he has Bean Mass Saiyan and
Iska.
Yeah. So he has 2 lethal strikes at least.
Yes,
next
at
turn.
least.
Here's a critical strike coming in. Gets to draw a card.
This is going to be to the wire. It's how good is your grip? Yeah, versus my 4-card hand or whatever.
Also, it really matters too what Joseph draws, man. If he draws a Mira, it's like so devastating.
Yeah.
All right, Joseph's going to take that. Go to 3.
So he's going to get to see two cards here. Is that a super combo? Is that a super combo?
Oh, he draws super. It does like he did, yeah.
I need result slips for table 319. Judges,
that looks like a King Kai.
Match slips for table 3.
Good old North Kai. Speaking of King Kai, I don't know if you noticed that with Dragon Ball Super, the movie, Broly. So there's one point in the movie where Goku slips up with his voice lines and ends up going into King Kai's voice. I don't know if many people caught it.
Right, yeah,
if you didn't know, Goku is also the voice. Sean Shamel is not only the voice of Goku, but he's the voice of King Kai as well.
I think he got another Sensu Bean here. I couldn't see it. All right. There's the Kai. This is Silent Strike.
Proper etiquette. I always appreciate when my opponent plays the East Kai or Champa first, so I know that I'm going to die, rather than slow roll it at the end and keep me wondering why. I think you just go all in here.
Yeah, you
just do it. I think. Yet another one. Yeah, another one. There we go.
Oh, you think you go with the Mass Saiyan too?
Yeah, he's doing it all. Do it all. What are the odds?
That's a lot.
What was that? 25, 35, 45, 55, 60 for the game.
$15, $20, $30.
Judges, I need all match slips from all players from Dragon Ball and Yu-Gi-Oh! Everybody should be finished. Overtime has
40.
expired and time in Yu-Gi-Oh! Has expired as well. Please report all match slips.
So he needs 25 more. Yep, that's it. There's the hand.